I had to get a little stretching real fast because, like, what I'm about to talk about isn't exactly the easiest subject. Um, well, it's not easy getting rid of a temptation of any kind, and especially if you're addicted. You know what I'm saying? Um, in my case, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm like at all addicted to weed. It's been like about maybe 4 months or so since I even touched this stuff, which, in my opinion, is something to be proud of. You know what I'm saying? I've done this before, quit before for like a good 3 years back in my time when I was over in New Mexico. And, you know what I'm saying? I was able to live my life pretty decently with a clear mind. And mostly everything kind of just made sense after that, you know? And it was just something that was just easy for me to do back then. But I guess at this time, circumstances have changed, and this is kind of what I'm here to talk to you guys about. Now, some of you may be aware what, besides weed's wonderful euphorial thing that it just kind of does, it usually is one thing that kind of helps me calm down. Um, what it also does is it kind of just blocks off the receptors in your brain responsible for sleep that involves dreams. What that basically means is just kind of like it just blocks it off. You know what I'm saying? Like you have little to no dreams at all when you smoke, and typically it leads to dreamless sleep, and you just kind of wake up. It almost feels like a Skyrim wait, sleep how long, rest how long kind of thing. You hit the slider, you know what I'm saying, then the time tick down. All of a sudden, it's like fucking, you know what I'm saying, next day type shit. You wake up, it's all good, you know. But after some time of like, you know what I'm saying, being off of it, what kind of happens is, uh, you end up having some pretty intense and vivid dreams. And this, I understand, is the case for even some other like harder stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that's not the easiest in the world to deal with, especially within the context of what those dreams are about. They could be very personal, or they could just be extremely vivid. You're lucid through them, and they could be like, you know, extremely intense. To describe for you, one time, um, while I was still in California, I had a stint where I was in that shelter, as some people remember from some of my more previous videos. And I had a pretty intense dream at that time where I was in this freaking big ass freaking fighting coliseum, and you know I was fighting alongside this fighting partner, and I was fighting a whole minotaur and shit. You know what I'm saying? I was getting cut up and all that. I could feel everything. You know what I'm saying? It was a pretty freaking intense. It wasn't like, you know, fear mongering or anything like that. The dream, in fact, was actually pretty cool because I won every one of the fights that I was in that tournament, and it was awesome. But then there was another dream, um, where I basically um, got the absolute worst. Like I had like a dream where um, all of my friends and everything like that were just telling me just kind of like how much of, like, you know, a loser I was, and just like, you know, it's basically like emptying my own self-esteem problems right in front of me, and just, you know, telling me how much a failure I am, like that I'm gonna stay in this shelter. Like, I literally had a dream like that while I was off weed, and that was for another like couple of months since I didn't have access to it as easily. um, you know, go figure, because like in California didn't have access to weed. That's crazy. But you know what I'm saying? Uh, the dream was literally like one of those Far Cry motherfuckers, where, like, you know, that one thing where they was like under that red stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like the tobacco, and the lady had like this fever dream about, like, oh, if you didn't leave me on the beach, I'd still be alive. You know, like, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, it's just, and I had a dream exactly like that. it was very unpleasant, and it led me back around to at the very sorry about that. Just side of my mouth, whatever. I'll leave that in there. But basically, what it did was it led me back around to wanting to smoke again, just to defeat the nightmares, to defeat the demons. You know what I'm saying? And I picked up weed once again. Now, over the last few months, I did move away from California once again, and while I was still there, I was in a budding relationship with a female, and it was pretty nice. I was able to take her out for a little bit, and it was looking like it was going to be a good thing. Um, but circumstances beyond my control led me out of the state. It was either that or be homeless. And I didn't want the first thing. Well, the second thing, I mean. So I ended up moving away, and my relationship became long distance, and because of that, I ended up smoking again. And she was kind of like my thing, back there. Like I was kind of resolved to quit smoking again, and I was pretty keen on it. I was kind of doing the thing where I kind of lowered my intake over time and then eventually just kind of wean myself off of it, because like the real reality of it is for many years weed has stopped doing the thing that I wanted it to do, and I was just looking for a way to stop. And I had somebody who was like my strength right there, which was my lady, and she was like really supportive of that. She was a bartender, and what I'm saying, like she you know help people, stop, despite what the business aspects of it were, was actually helping people to stop drinking. And I thought that was really cool of her. And, what I'm saying, I leaned on her to help me to stop smoking. And, like, she was a good distraction for me. We went out, we would get food and just kind of just listen to music and hang out in the car, that cute type of shit, you know what I'm saying? Um, that she was my new little thing, you know what I'm saying? Like she replaced weed, you know what I'm saying? And that was really good for me, I feel, especially as somebody who hasn't had a whole lot of relationship experience over his life, and any of it just kind of led to my own hurt, you know what I'm saying? Like, cheating, this, that, third, but, that's off topic. Basically, again, after I moved, the relationship became long distance. And since I didn't really have her right there in my corner, um, and the dreams and everything like that, it ended up being that I would pick up smoking again, as I said. And, I didn't think it was the right life decision. So I started talking to my girl about it. And, I made a pact with her that, I would actually just really stop. And I did for a while, and it just kind of came back around to the same circle again of okay, now we got to deal with the intense and vivid dreams and everything like that. And I just seem to come to a realization that I'm just kind of weak to that particular aspect of it, because like the dreams I have, especially the ones I had just recently. In fact, maybe an hour before the making of this video, I had a pretty intense and very scary dream where I was just like in the middle of a fucking crowd of people who were running out of a mall trying to escape a shooter. And you know what I'm saying? I ended up getting shot myself, and I'm on the ground, and I just feel myself leaking. Killer comes straight up to me like as if I was just the one he wanted all along, and we're gonna empty the clip on my ass. And it comes out to a third person view of my body just mangled on the ground, just a bloody mess, and just like seeing myself like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I realized that this video is going to be pretty graphic after me saying something like that. But like seeing my lifeless body as unalive, you know what I'm saying, on the ground like that, riddled with bullets, blood everywhere. was not something that, somebody should just wake up from, you know what I'm saying? Um, and it had me questioning a lot. I woke up and I was sweating. It was just like, it was a mess. And, what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, what? You know, it, it had me thinking like maybe I should go pick up some weed or something like this, you know what I'm saying? So I could just kind of like stop this from happening. Because like I went off this ride, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't like that line of thinking, which is again why I'm making this video, because like, I want people to hear a little bit about this, you know what I'm saying? Um, Quitting is not an easy thing, bro. Like whether it's alcohol, coke, whatever it is that you're on, whatever vice that it is that you have, it's not something that's just easy. You know what I'm saying? And people just think that it is. I don't know, but like, you know what I'm saying? Um, all this is just to really say that like I've been kind of going through a lot lately, and um, we it used to be the thing that kind of helped me escape, but now it's just like a source of stress for me now. Um, and sort of a damned if I do, damned if I don't kind of thing. Because like when I'm on it now, all I think is just like the worst thoughts and everything like that, and I just feel like I can't escape. So I stopped, but then that also comes with its own problems of like whatever minor like withdrawal, whatever shit that you want to call it. But like, um, this is like more of a thing where it's not an addiction, but a huge temptation that I just can't ignore because of the things that um, have occurred without it. So it clicks in my mind like, hey, I'd rather, what I'm saying, go through the terrible mental state than not be able to sleep. Because as some of you may be able to tell, like just bags under the eyes, like, what I'm saying, I don't sleep well anymore because like I don't, strictly in fear of the fact that I'm gonna have a terrible dream, like I don't know, like some freaking weak little 5 year old or something, like, oh, I'm scared to go to sleep, but I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of intense, and so lately I work overnight shifts, so I don't really sleep through the night as it is. But when I'm trying to get some rest, get a little nap in, like during the day, and I'm still having these intense, vivid dreams, it's like, where do you escape from? You know what I'm saying? There is no escape. Uh, and so, you think about weed, but it's just like, you don't feel proper with it, but at least you'll sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of like I got to trade one or the other. Do I want to have like a terrible mental state while I'm awake, or not be able to sleep at all without it? Um, and it's something that I'm seriously unable to really grapple with. And I'm just kind of looking for, a little bit of something from my community because it's not something that I can see myself through alone anymore. And since, uh, my lack of strength and being able to break up, yeah, like being able to break off of weed, it was a source of contention and argument with me and my lady, now my ex lady, because like she just couldn't get it. You know what I'm saying? She didn't understand, and I had a moment of weakness. And ended up smoking a little bit again, and I told her about it, and she just blew up. Now, honesty being the best policy, I of course, manned up and told her, "Hey, listen, I broke my streak and I ended up smoking again." I thought, what I'm saying, she would be like, "Yeah, good on you for telling me." You know what I'm saying? Something like this. Just get me. I didn't think she would blow up, but it ended up doing all that, and we ended up breaking up. It was long distance anyway, so I ended up being like, "Screw it." But it didn't really help because like same night I ended up taking a depression nap, I ended up waking up late for work, and even then, I ended up going to work. And on the same night, while at work, as you can see, my phone got broken, and that didn't really help me either. So it's just like, what I'm saying. It was kind of a one thing after another thing, and I don't make much money at my job anyway to be affording weed as it is. So like, it isn't a thing that I could totally just get my hands on. Um, and so I was just like sitting here before making this video, like, man, shoot, I might as well just go try to find me a joint or something, bro, because I'm not trying to be like, unable to sleep, because like I work through the night as it is. Like I said, um, I definitely need rest. And I'm going through a lot, what I'm saying, trying to find myself a place of my own and everything like that, and really try to establish myself so I can get back to doing the content I really want to do. um, but it has been tough, and I haven't been able to really like deliver in many areas because of circumstances, and this doesn't help at all either. So I just want to kind of like, what I'm saying, talk to y'all about this, and then, ask what your opinion is. And if you guys are even going through something like this, do have you had like, similar experiences to my own, with weed or with any other thing that you might be into? This is a place for you guys to just go ahead and talk about it a little bit, and give me some perspective. You know what I'm saying? And I just appreciate y'all watching this video, and I kind of want to just like yap about this. Having nowhere really to turn to that I felt like I'd be comfortable, I turned to my community. So, again, I appreciate y'all. This is once again your boy, Hachiro Mangetsu, at you again for another video, and then I'm up out of the building.